Hi, this is Alex with Maple Leaf Coffee Roasters in Roselle. I'm here today to talk about our February 2025 Club Coffee, a geisha coffee from Nicaragua. Check it out. So as a reminder for everyone, the Club Coffee program is something that we do here at Maple Leaf where we bring in a members-only coffee every month. We roast it 3 different ways. We try to choose something that's a little bit exotic, different, off the path, or bring in something that we want to treat a little bit differently in the way that we roast it, and is it's something that we get a bag of for all of our club members receive their choice of one of these 3 different roasts. And if you are interested in this program, you can sign up with us. We actually may have a spot or 2 this month. So if you're interested in giving this a shot, please feel free to reach out, send us a note, and we will get you all the details over as soon as we can. So this is a fun coffee for us for a variety of reasons. So 2 big things going on with this coffee is a Nicaraguan coffee. And Nicaraguan coffees, generally speaking, have a bigger body to them, kind of more of a heavier flavor overall, no matter how you roast it. We've always liked Nicaraguan coffees for a variety of reasons here at Maple Leaf. We use some of them in our blends year round. And whenever we've had a Nicaraguan coffee for a single origin, it's been fun to do it as a light roast, but the way it drinks is usually a little bit more like a dark or a medium, just by virtue of the nature of the way that the coffee there is grown and the types of plants and trees that there are there. The other fun thing about this coffee is it's a geisha coffee. Now, geisha coffees are a strain of coffee that has been imported from Ethiopia, and geisha coffees are available from many Central American countries. Most often you'll see a geisha coffee from Panama as one of the more common geisha coffees to see in folks' lineup. Interesting thing about these geisha trees, they have produce a very distinctive taste in the coffee. So usually you'll get a kind of herbal, exotic, a little bit like an herbal spice kind of feel to these sorts of flavors. And whenever you see a geisha coffee available in another country that's not Ethiopia, you get a kind of fun combination of the types of flavors and the profile that you would normally see from the coffee that the country where the coffee was grown, coupled with the very distinctive flavor of geisha beans. And this is definitely going to be one of those that fits that bill. Geisha trees are also very difficult to grow. The yield in cultivating and keeping them growing sustainably is much more difficult than any typical Katura or typical kinds of trees. So there's a reason that you don't see too much geisha coffee out there. When you generally do, it's more on the pricey side of things. So we're fun, and we're really looking forward to people giving this one a shot, because it is the first time that many people will have a chance to try a geisha coffee, and I think that it will leave a very specific memory in their head as a result. So we roasted this 3 different ways, of course, light, medium, dark. We didn't do anything super exotic or interesting with the roast this month. Nicaraguan coffees tend to like a little bit more heat. They tend to require a bit more push to get them to their final destination. This one is no different. Even the beans, a little bit bigger than some other Central American coffees, but not enormous like we normally see out of some Nicaraguan coffees. The beans generally tend to be a little bit large. And that larger area does make roasting the coffee a bit more challenging, only because the way it takes on heat takes a bit more energy in the roaster, and you want to make sure that you don't roast the coffee too quickly, or else you end up with like a burned or bitter flavor. So the light roast in this month has a curious combination of like a bigger drinking kind of feel to it because of that Nicaraguan background. It has a kind of sweet cinnamon taste to it, a little bit of an apple tone, very subtle, but you get a lot more of that kind of geisha flavor out of this one. It has a kind of floral, almost tea-like kind of feel to it. So it's an interesting level of complexity in the light roast, because it has that combination of the heavier body to it from the Nicaraguan origin, plus the geisha flavors in that kind of tea-like sense. Not acidic coffee at all either here. So if you're a person that normally doesn't do the light roast because of the sharper, kind of more acidic nature, this is one that you actually might have a little bit of fun with, to give it a shot. If you're a person who doesn't like the kind of lighter finishes that some of the light roast coffees will have sometimes, the ones that kind of you drink it and it finishes really quick and you don't have that much left in your palate, you might want to avoid this guy. Kind of an Ethiopian-like feel to this coffee overall, just not the acidic nature to it. So if you're a fan of Ethiopian coffees and you want to try something a little bit different, this is a really great roast to go with this month. The medium roast, on the other hand, is very similar to the light in some ways. We didn't roast it that much darker, and we'll have some pictures next to this to show the kind of color on the medium roast as well. Has more of like a chocolate, a little bit of a nutty hint to it. Still has that kind of light tea flavor, but a little bit more body than the light roast, of course, as you'll be unsurprised. Mostly a little bit of like that herbal spice, a little bit of a lemon kind of tint to this. So the very small, subtle citrusy flavor that's not super strong. Nothing about any of the flavors in either the light or the medium is really robust or strong. Despite it being a Nicaraguan coffee, that geisha background in this coffee really does shine through in the overall flavors of this coffee as well. And the kind of spice floral notes on this are a little bit more muted than they were in the light roast, but they're still there. So if you're looking for something to kind of balance between a little bit more body, but kind of tone down some of the things that I talked about in the light roast, the medium roast might be a really great shot this month. On the dark roast side of things, this was one that had that kind of dark roast sensibility to it. You have a little bit of the marshmallow roasty tones in it, but not super dark, not super strong. So anyone that normally goes for the dark roast from us on a regular shelf, there's a few coffees that we have that have a very fierce kind of taste to them. That's by design. Dark roast, you tend to taste more of the roast profile as opposed to the coffee itself. And we tried not to do a super dark roast on the Nicaraguan coffee this month because I wanted to make sure that we retained as much of the flavor profile as possible while still giving it a little bit more body and washing out a little bit too much of that geisha profile. This one had more of a sweeter bent to it than the light or the medium, a little bit more of like a dark chocolate feel to it. So it's still a little bit similar to the medium roast in that kind of chocolatey tone. And the spice kind of floral tones are definitely there, but they're more mixed in with that kind of roasty tone that you would see in some of the conventional dark roast that we do. A little bit of lemon tint here too, and interestingly, the finish on this has a rich but not lasting finish. So it's a kind of a weird contrast to strike between those two things. Normally the finish on a dark roast will be very thick and flavorful and just kind of coat your mouth. This one does have that, but the way it finishes once you swallow is very quick. So if you're looking for something that's a little bit different than what you would normally expect out of a dark roast, I'd say give the dark roast this month a shot because it is going to be something that has this curious kind of quirk where even though you do still taste it in your mouth, the way that it swallows and that finishes once you do kind of let it go will not be something that sort of sticks with you in the same way that most dark roasts do. So this month, there's 3 really interesting things to choose from here. I'm not sure where the split's going to be. Normally in usual months, I can kind of convince people to go with 1 or 2 of these different things, and that's where most of the kind of choices lie. But I think this is going to be an interesting coffee for folks to give a shot to because of that combination of the Nicaraguan profile and the geisha profile together in one coffee. So I hope to catch you all back here for another great Club Coffee video next month. Take care.